Hi, everybody. This is Mondays with Mike, a weekly video series where we answer questions from people like you. Here's this week's question. Mike, how much of the story do you recommend a person shares when a friend, family member, or colleague starts asking questions about personal matters? Well, sometimes the lift is too much for me. So once again, I'm glad to have our producer,
Marty. Hello.
With me again. Marty, this is a big one, man. How much of the story do you share when a friend, family member, or colleague starts asking you questions about personal matters?
Oh man, that's a tough one.
It's a tough one, right?
I think it's different for every person to a point.
Yeah.
It's really how much are you comfortable with in terms of how much share that you give, but also there has to be a point where some information is safeguarded against, right? Like things that, are very, I don't know. I mean, it's different for everybody, right? Some people are open books and every single detail about their lives. And then there are other people you don't know very much. So it really is a dynamic.
You think it gets back to that trust vulnerability thing from that question a few sessions ago? Yeah. Here's what I say. I share very little personal information with somebody unless it directly affects them. So, because here's the deal. I don't care how much we love and care about a person. They're either going to do one of three things. They're going to overreact and try to jump in and fix it, which may not be helpful, or it might. They're going to be like, oh my God, and avoid it. Or they're just going to receive it, right? And I think you're right. I think Marty's absolutely right. The answer, I think, is make sure you know your audience. The work is know your audience. If you know your audience, but there is a place, and Marty did a great job of saying, there's some stuff you got to hold secret, right? There's some stuff that's got to be quiet because sometimes they can't handle it. I mean, I've got a friend I know for a fact they cannot handle certain information, so I don't share that information. All right, so know your audience, number one. Number two, carve out only enough that they need to hear. Sometimes we can overshare. Marty, you know anybody that overshares? I know.
I definitely do, yep.
Yeah, and at some point you're like, I could have gone all day without hearing that. So number one, make sure you share what can be useful to the other person. Number two, as Marty suggested, hold some stuff close to you. And number three, you got to know your audience. Make sure you know your audience. Hope that's helpful. If you have a question, and man, a lot of people have tough questions this time, don't they?
They do.
Send it to info@mikestaver.com. That's info@mikestaver.com. And we'll be sure to work it in. Don't forget to share Mondays with Mike on your social channels. Take care.